You're listening to the Platte River Bard.
All right, then, before we get started, I just got a quick note on how we had to piece together this episode due to technical difficulties.
So I had to piece it together. Emily wasn't able to be with us most of the podcast, so we don't hear a lot from her, and I hope we can rectify that in the future. I'd love to have her back.
Yes, just had to piece it together a little bit. So anyway, off we go. Hello, and welcome to the Platte River Bard. This is Chris Berger.
And I'm Sherry Berger.
And today we are here with Daena Schweiger, the director, Emily Jane, who is playing one of the two narrators in Joseph, and Sean Graves from Chanticleer Community Theatre's production of Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
So now this goes up on December 10th. And so we are one day after Thanksgiving now, so you guys are fast approaching opening day. A couple of
we
weeks
have 2
away.
weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks, almost exactly.
I gave them a little bit of a Thanksgiving break, and we start again on Sunday, and we'll go almost 2 weeks straight, which will probably kill them all, but it'll be a good ramp up to get us into the production. So.
Well, that's a good thing, and it's just a 2-weekend run as well, too. So yeah, you've got a little bit of time.
Yep, it's Friday, Saturday nights, so 10th and 11th at 7:30, and then the 12th at 2 o'clock matinee, and then the following Friday and Saturday at 7:30, and then a Sunday 2 o'clock matinee.
Yeah. You've been doing some directing, but it's been a little while since you've done directing, Daena, right? Been a little while?
Yeah, so this show was originally supposed to happen in May of 2020, and then a little thing called the pandemic hit.
Yes.
And
yeah.
so we had the show cast, and then a week later the show got postponed, and it was supposed to be done in December of last year, and then with the increase in COVID numbers, they ended up having to decrease the size of that a cast could perform on stage to keep it safe. And so once it kind of hit about the 10-person mark, it was like, well, that's going to be fairly difficult to do Joseph.
Yeah.
And so they opted to postpone it again, and I actually had done a Christmas show with Chanticleer. So I'm glad that almost 24 months later we're able to actually put this back up on its feet. So I'm really excited. So.
Did you get a lot of the same cast members from before?
We about half. We lost about half. Sean ended up being part of the second group that we auditioned. Very thankful that he came out and auditioned, obviously, and he's a great Joseph. And the biggest thing was we lost a lot of children. There's a children's youth ensemble in the show, and we had a lot more kids. And a lot of them, it's a lot different when you do something in May, and, when school is going to be out. And then, we had kids that now are in high school and wanted to do their high school shows, which was understandable. It's hitting now over the holidays, so that messes with people's holiday schedules. And I even had a couple of kids that said, that'd be great, I'd love to do it. We're in Texas now. So I even had people move out of town. So, but that's theater in a pandemic.
Right,
so.
Exactly.
But yeah, we have about 30 people that are in this cast, so it's still rather large. We have a youth ensemble. We have 6 kids that are doing the show.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's always a good time when you get a chance to work with youth.
Yeah, and I bet it was written for more, but you probably pared it down some.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that when I originally cast the show, I had a bigger pool of kids, but that was because we were going into the summer, and so with it being over the holidays and over a year later, we lost a number of the kids who had originally auditioned, and then I think maybe one. I think we had like one girl that came out and auditioned this time around and was cast. So, yeah. So, but we only had 6, but I think we had I think we had over a dozen the last time, so we lost about half of the kids. So, but you know what? Those six kids, they pack a wallop with their voices. They can sing, and they have the energy to keep us all going. So
yeah. I think that's all you need, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
exactly.
I think Christmas Carol. You and I, Daena, saw it last week. They had less this year than they've had, and I think it worked out really well. Still.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Emily, you're the narrator in this particular production. Have you ever done anything like this before? Have you done this?
I have been the tie together in quite a few shows. I think the first time I did was a non-musical when I played Alma in Bus Stop. There's so much happening in the bus stop, and she's the young lady who kind of keeps the show going through 3 acts.
Yeah.
This is my first time doing it musically, but it's a good time.
So what other roles have you done besides Bus Stop?
I do a lot of plays. I like the heavy stuff. I like to be very close to an audience where you can see in their eyes whether or not you're having an impact on them. So I do a lot of heavier works, I think, a lot of new plays and things like that.
Cool.
But I've always sang, so I've done all of your traditional shows. I've done West Side Story, I've done Little Shop of Horrors, I've done Ragtime at the Playhouse years ago, not the more recent one.
Okay.
Lots of musicals, but give me a good heavy play, and I love it every time.
Excellent.
So and I'm sorry that I'm asking a stupid question, but does the narrator sing in this particular show?
The narrator only sings.
Okay.
Yes, all singing. Yes.
I've never seen it, so I hate to admit that I haven't because I know it is one of the classics. So, Sean, this is your first lead that you've done before, right? This is kind of a new thing for you.
Yeah, it's been really exciting. It's been a process. I never thought that I'd have an opportunity like that. So it's really humbling to be seen as somebody that can pull that off and essentially be the face of a show. And that's terrifying but exciting all at the same time.
Yes, it is.
So what other things have you done before this?
So this is actually my second community theater show. My first community theater show was with Ralston Community's theater production of Beauty and the Beast. I was Cogsworth in that show.
Oh, neat.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Besides that, I did a lot of college shows. I've done Man of La Mancha as Sancho, and I've done actually Music Man, which Chanticleer just put on. I did that show. I've done that twice, both as Marcellus.
So. That's Marcel. Excellent.
So you got to dance.
Oh, yeah.
A little dancing. Yes, indeed.
A little dancing. Could barely sing alongside it.
Oh.
I'm right there with you. It's a good thing I'm such a lousy dancer. You're probably a good dancer, so they make you dance. I'm such a lousy dancer. They give me the bare minimum, so it makes it a little easier to sing.
I got lucky with a lot of that, too.
Sean can hold his own as a dancer.
I bet he can.
So what college productions, which college were you in?
So actually, I was at Midland University. I did most of my shows under the direction of Dan Hayes.
They always seem to have a really full season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I have actually done directing on the side of it, not directing of the show itself, but I've directed pit orchestras with Midland as well.
Oh,
so.
Neat. So
one of the last shows that I actually saw before we went into the pandemic was Noises Off out at Midland.
Oh yeah, that only ran for 2 days, I think, something like that.
Yeah, it was really good. I love that show. So I was like, I made it out there to see. It was great.
You've done music and theater, so which one is your first love?
Oh, that's a hard choice. I've never really had a first love on music and theater. I went to school for music. I was a big band geek. I played tuba and trombone all throughout high school, and I did singing as well alongside it. And then I jumped into theater in college more than anything. So it's kind of like that second love, and just kind of fell into it.
Yeah, the music kind of brought you there. So
yeah.
Neat. So what's been the most challenging part of this?
The time's a lot. It takes a lot out of you.
Yes.
I'm a taskmaster when it comes to directing. I'm making them go 6 days a week.
Oh.
Yeah.
For at least 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. That's pretty standard. That's what I'm used to.
Yeah.
It feels really great to have that time, though. I feel super prepared to be able to put on the show. Do I feel like I could put it on tomorrow entirely? Probably not, but I could probably put it on in a couple of days once things fill up more.
And that's what you need.
You know, that's one of the, and Chris, I don't know if you can speak to this with the length of rehearsals that you had for A Christmas Carol, but with big musicals like this, I tend to build longer rehearsal schedules, and I think Sean can attest to this. We've had a lot with, a huge cast of like 30 some people.
Yeah, big
Trying
cast.
to get people there every night to rehearse has been a challenge. So a lot of times, we're doing the same thing, kind of over and over and over again, because we have to incorporate people who are missing from blocking rehearsals or, choreography rehearsals or whatever. So for the people that don't have as many conflicts, it's a much longer process for them because they're having to go over it and over it and over it. So they tend to be, super prepared. And then for the people who aren't, it's, a little bit of a catch up. So it's kind of a juggling act. So.
Yes. Well, and you always want to get extra time for musicals because you have to have extra time to learn the music in addition to the script and staging and everything else. And with a production like Joseph or even Jesus Christ Superstar, it's all music. There's no maybe one line of dialogue here or there, but it's all sung through, and so that's a challenge in and of itself. Yes. No. Well, and it just depends. I mean, some shows like you said, like with A Christmas Carol, that show kind of naturally divides itself up. And you can compartmentalize that show as far as rehearsals go, but that's a luxury of how that show is put together and just the nature of the show. Not every show's like that, and you can't go, okay, well, we're doing these scenes here, and it's like, well, wait a minute, I can't be 3 places at once. So but if you have a show that you can do that with, that's one of the things that they do that kind of get more done. Daena, have you had any contact with Joseph as a show, either being in it or being a director or a stage manager or something for it before, or is this your first contact with Joseph as far as working it?
No, it's my first contact with the show, although it is one of my favorite Andrew Lloyd Webber pieces. That one and Jesus Christ Superstar are my favorites. So getting the opportunity to direct it has been quite fun. So it's a goofy, cheesy little show that's just perfect. It's perfectly mindless, and you can go into it and just have a good time, I think. So
I think so too.
But it is one of those shows that people either love or hate. You ask people, and they either love the show, or they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't stand it. I would never go to it." And I'm like,
Fair enough. I suppose it is like one of those shows. That's true. Yeah, that's true. And there's a lot for Joseph to do in this show. Kind of like, I know, not as much as because you mentioned you were a Music Man. Not as well. I don't know. Maybe it's closer to on par with the Harold Hill, which is a gigantic part because Joseph is a very large part.
Yeah. There's a lot, but at the same time, I felt like it's been so much more for some of this chorus on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Such a big chorus show. The music is just so... the parts in it are just so complex that to watch some of the other cast just work on that has been incredible. I love doing what I'm doing, but just I think that's what's going to make this show that much better than any production of this show.
Neat.
Strong cast, strong singing cast. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what kind of music are you having? Are you having instruments or is it track?
It is going to be a small pit orchestra under our direction of Chris Ebke, and he's phenomenal.
Cool.
We have some phenomenal instrumentalists coming in. I know a decent amount of them, and I just know that they're going to put on a phenomenal music scene.
We've been seeing musicals and stuff both ways, especially coming out of the pandemic and stuff. Some people are going back to the big pit. Some people are doing kind of minimal instruments. Some people are just doing tracks.
A little bit of track.
Or doing a mix. Just kind of interesting.
It's all fun, though.
Oh, yeah. No, it's all good. I would be intimidated as an actor to try to sing along to a track, and I don't know why that intimidates me just thinking about it. I've never had to do it, and I don't know why. There's no difference, really, is there?
I've only done one show track-wise, though. I did Hunchback Notre Dame with Midland. That was my final show I did with them. And that one was all tracked. It's a little terrifying because you have to be on time with everything. The pit can't catch you.
Right.
No.
I've had to catch pits as a pit director before, and I could not imagine just not having that capability as easily.
Okay, that's what strikes fear into me. That's the thing. Because it's like if anything goes wrong, doesn't matter. Track's going. Better get there.
Well, especially if there's parts in the actual scene itself where where something has to be done, and when the music stops, or something that's.
Yeah.
I'm thinking specifically of Music Man. There's a couple of places that you have to be in a certain place on stage. In order to do something, in order for something to happen.
Yeah. Just very interesting. I have never had that experience of having to do the track. We saw at the Rose. We saw
Descendants.
The Descendants, and that whole thing was tracked. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, timing. Oh wow.
Well, they
timing
made it look flawless.
Everything.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, no, and it was flawless, but it was just like wow.
Yeah.
If you're tracked. Gotta be timed
be
out to the second. That's terrifying to me. I don't know why.
I did one canned recorded show. I think I'm not on my best actor game when it's recorded. You have to have the timing exactly right so you don't play with anything. So I think I'm better with live musicians.
It just doesn't. There's no give. On it.
No, you have to be the same person in the same timing every day.
Got to be exact.
So, yes.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like you can have any fun. You just have to do it exactly the same.
Fair enough.
I much would rather have that orchestra, someone conducting you, a little give and take there.
Fair enough. You mentioned that that this was the first time you had seen Sean here without his mask, so you guys are all masking up rehearsals and stuff like that in the rehearsal space?
Yes, we are. Keep each other safe. And that 6 feet goes out the window when you're belting or projecting, so you've got to be extra safe when you're singing.
Right.
Now you guys
we're not taking our masks off until Tech Sunday.
Fair enough.
So.
And you guys are rehearsing performing rather over at the Huff Family Arts Center, which is at Pace.
Correct. It's over in Council Bluffs. So there are 3 or 4 different organizations that are kind of part of the Pottawattamie Arts, Culture, and Entertainment Pace umbrella. There's the American Midwest Ballet. There's Chanticleer. There's the Canesville Symphony. I know I'm forgetting one. But anyway, so they're all over in the Hoff Performing Arts Center, which is just right off of the interstate in Council Bluffs. So, well, and the interesting thing about it is it's only the second production. Yeah. It's as far as Chanticleer goes, right? Again, everything changed with the pandemic. So Music Man was the inaugural show that was going to open Chanticleer and open the Pace, basically, their building. And I think they got like the first 3 performances of Music Man in, because I saw it on Saturday, and then that Sunday, the world shut down.
Right.
And that was back in March of 2020. And so they didn't even I think they got 2 performances in of Music Man before everything shut down.
Oh my gosh.
So when the world opened back up, it was great that that Pace and Chanticleer said, hey, let's put Music Man back on the season, because they had done it. I mean, they had rehearsed it. They had 2 shows that had opened or 2 performances under their belt. So they went and gave them the opportunity to do the whole run. And I mean, you know how it is. Every theater was affected, and some shows, got 3 performances in and they closed down and they didn't get a chance to do it anymore. And then there are some theaters that put their shows back on the season for this year, like we are with Joseph, the Playhouse, it has a couple of shows that they're doing that they had cast and were almost ready to open and didn't get it open. So it's good opportunity for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Joseph is huge. And actually, speaking of pandemic, I'm always curious, Emily Jane, did you have the theater pandemic experience? Did you go to do a show and then they decided just to like tape it and put it online or do some kind of different thing for the pandemic?
Well, my last audition before the world shut down was for this show. So I got this part more than a year before. And then a year later, Daena actually said, you still down? So I just thought, well, my calendar really cleared up, so I think I'm all right.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's right. Well, it feels so good, though, to be able to go back to theater. And I'm finally feeling comfortable as a theater goer. I'm not the actor. He's the actor. But as a theater goer, I'm finally feeling more comfortable. And it's just taken a few times. So. Yeah.
Now, is this your first, is this all your first shows back from the pandemic break?
It is for me.
Yeah, and it is. Yeah. Have you done anything, Daena, yet?
When we were going to do Joseph last December and it ended up not getting done, we ended up doing a play with music called 1940s Radio Christmas Carol. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's right.
Sean, were you doing anything at the time when the world shut down? Were you in the middle of anything or at audition for anything?
I was not. I was looking into doing auditions for that summer, but I hadn't been in anything yet.
Yeah. We just finished up Mamma Mia, and like 2 weeks later, everything shut down.
Yeah.
I was like, well, cool, we got that in.
It just seems like ages ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems like several years instead of just like a year and a half.
Yeah. I think I've aged like another 5 years on top of it.
That's all right.
Well, we're really excited. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat offered at Christmas.
Yeah.
So,
well, when you're thinking about Christmas, what better Bible story to tell than a kid getting thrown down a well?
There you go.
But I don't know. So I don't know. What's your favorite Andrew Lloyd Webber piece?
Oh.
What's everybody's favorite Andrew Lloyd Webber piece? Jesus Christ Superstar and Joseph are fun ones for me. I like a lot of Andrew Lloyd Webber stuff, but those two kind of stick out for me. I think part of the reason why I'm sorry, which one? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I think it's Jesus Christ Superstar for me.
I honestly had never even really heard of Joseph prior to doing this show. Like I'd known it existed, but I'd never seen it, heard the music from it. My wife did it 10 years ago. My best friend did it in high school, but I never really thought of it. And so actually one of my favorite Andrew Lloyd Webber pieces is Phantom, because I grew up watching the movie as a kid, and my wife did too. And yeah.
Sure.
Gosh, too many to choose from, man.
Oh, no, he's written a ton of stuff.
Just an amazing amount of...
No, he's written a ton of stuff.
How do you choose?
I think what's fun about Joseph is there's a different there's so many different flavors of music in this show.
Yes. That
you can find, and I think that's why it either is something that people love or they don't love, because you just have to wonder what in the world were Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice thinking when they sat down and wrote a song that has like a country western flavor, and then you've got a disco number in it, and you have, kind of this hip hop rap music going in one section, and it's just all of these different flavors of music, and it's an interesting piece. Mm-hmm. But Donny Osmond, who does not hold a candle at all to Sean, was was Joseph. And for those keeping score at home, one of the original Josephs was Michael Damian, who was Danny Romalotti, for anybody who watched The Young and the Restless, and they had a big, huge side point when he got cast in the show that they built that into as a subplot on The Young and the Restless. That tells you how old I am.
Young and the Restless.
There you
That was
go.
on the other day after.
Yes, it was after the
the
Macy's
parade.
parade. Young and the Restless came on.
The soap that never dies.
Right. Oh, it was wonderful to talk to you guys and to meet you. I'm so excited for this. And Emily, I'm really excited to hear your voice because I just have this feeling that you're going to be amazing. And Sean, I'm excited for you as well. This is your first big role, and it's a really heavy lift. So
Yeah.
really excited for you as well. I bet you're going to be great.
Everybody's going to be great. Break all of the legs. I know you got a couple of weeks left in rehearsal, but you're ramping up. Now's the time. And thank you very much to Daena Schweiger, who is the director of Joseph, Sean Graves, who's Joseph, and Emily Jane, who is one of the narrators. Thank you, one and all, for talking with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and supporting the arts in the Platte River area and beyond. Please subscribe to our podcast so you are sure to catch all of our future episodes and join us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Music for this podcast was used with permission by Screaming Skull Productions. See you next time on the Platte River Bard.